So for today's Throwback Day, we're going to take a look at a film from 1964 that was directed by a director that I am not really the biggest fan of, and that of course is Stanley Kubrick. And this movie is Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, featuring a cast including Peter Sellers, George C. Scott, and Slim Pickens. So this movie is about three interlocking, interesting stories. One involves a soldier of the U.S. Army who goes completely insane and realizes that there is a possible plot of Russia to destroy the United States due to a poisoning or infecting of drinking water, and he wants to launch a nuclear attack on the Russians. So he is trying to get a code from another ranking officer who refuses to give them to him, played by Peter Sellers, and he is in contact with a pilot of a plane carrying a bomb over Russia, and he is just waiting for the signal to receive the go-ahead to drop the bomb on Russia. And in the same time while all of this is going on, there is a conference going on in Washington, D.C. between the United States officials as well as some ambassadors to the United States government to try and put their differences aside and prevent nuclear holocaust. It is actually a dark comedy, even though it does sound very dramatic, and that is pretty much what this movie is about. Now, I'm going to tell you guys this. Out of all the Stanley Kubrick films that I have seen, this is actually the one film that I absolutely love. This story is so freaking loopy and so smart and clever at the same time. You are just so engaged by a story that does not really have that much action, a story that is very dialogue-driven with a little bit of slapstick that's involved, as well as some very ingenious takes on words. I think one of the greatest lines is actually one of the greatest lines in movie history, and that is, "There's no fighting in the war room." That scene just made me laugh so hard. The acting in this film is absolutely fantastic. Peter Sellers plays two roles, and both of them are so much fun to watch, and George C. Scott gives the performance of his career in this film. I absolutely loved him in this movie, because he's a guy that really is a ranking officer that wants to get down to business, but at the same time, he's sort of like saying to himself, what am I doing here, why are we even discussing that there's more important things to do, etc., etc. But I absolutely love how these stories are interlocked, especially with all the comedy that is involved, and I also appreciate the fact that there is actually no score in this movie. This movie is really dependent upon the actions that the actors take, as well as all the dialogue. So you really got to keep yourself listening, otherwise you're definitely going to miss a very funny joke. But I actually had so much fun while I was watching this movie from beginning to end. It is a movie that I would love to see again. I'm surprised that I haven't owned it yet, but I really, really loved this film, and I give props to Stanley Kubrick for finally giving me a film that actually made me laugh. I'm quite surprised that after this, he went on to just do nothing but dramas and really not try to stick with comedy, because I really think he had something there. But who am I to argue? He is who he is. He left a legacy on the film world, and as far as I'm concerned, Dr. Strangelove was a true winner for me. It wasn't perfect, because it definitely is a movie that not everybody's going to understand, and there were a couple of parts of the film that I did kind of think fell a little bit flat, but it's still a very strong film, and I'm going to give it 3.5 out of 4. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. Please put your comments in the box below, and let's have a discussion on Dr. Strangelove. And I will see you in the next Throwback Day. Actions speak louder than words.